So a little bit of an indoor test. I was just checking the video quality. As you can see, it picked up 4 satellites and achieved a world record indoor speed of over 530 kilometers an hour before things went pear-shaped, but it was enough to give me an idea of what was going on. So my GPS units have arrived, so I've been doing a bit of work with it and I've got it working quite well, so I'm quite pleased with that. So it's a bit of a rundown as to where I've got to so far. So this is the unit I went for. It only cost about 20 bucks Australian. It's the M10 unit, and a lot of people seem to use them, very happy with them. So I was a bit confused when it arrived, because every video I'd seen showed the top looking a lot like that, and I realised to get that I had to peel the cover off, which I did. So peeling that off, and then it comes with some clear shrink wrap, so I just sort of slipped that over it on the one I've got functioning. I had to, as usual, clip this off and get my normal 1.25 space plugs that I prefer. But all in all, very straightforward. Just like ELRS, reverse the transmit and receive between the module and the SpeedyB F405 board. But yeah, pretty chuffed so far. So right, sitting on the top is the GPS unit. So taking the lid off, and it's starting to look a little crowded inside. So the GPS unit is coming off these ports here. 4 wires, transmit, receive, power and ground. I've moved the wiring across for the video transmitter to there. In the front there, of course, the camera, and on the other side got the ELRS connection running through to there. So I had to do a bit more work with insulating wires, get rid of interference with the GPS, but so far I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm now studying up on GPS rescue as the next step. So here's the screen from BeiDou Configurator 1010 for BeiDou 4.51, the GPS tab, and at this stage I knew I'd got the thing working, so I set it to grab as many satellites as possible. I had no idea how crowded it is up there. The only guys missing are the Russians.
Welcome to HTX. Switch warning. Descent. Angle mode.
It's quite gusty, isn't it? Took me a moment or two to realise that I wasn't getting the height or bearing from the GPS unit. So I think the mistake I made was that I armed it and then moved it to plug the battery in, and then moved it to another position from where I was sitting to the takeoff pad, and that was enough to upset it. So the only downside was that when I flew, so I brought it back as soon as I realised and did another flight. For the second flight, I don't think I'd had the antenna for the VTX upright.
Yes, it's showing
so
now.
The image clarity wasn't quite as good as the first flight, but live and learn, getting there.
Milliwatts, 25 milliwatts, 25 milliwatts.
This height reading's wrong though.
My next mistake was to confuse the distance flown from the GPS unit with the altitude, which I normally get from the barometer. So I'm looking at this 222 and thinking, gee, I'm nowhere near that height. So it's just getting used to having a lot more stuff on screen. It's a bit gusty, but I'm pleased to see that the direction arrow that's pointing back to the home is working properly, because that's going to be important when I get into the GPS rescue side of things. Without a magnetometer it takes a while for it to sort it out, but it does get there, and it does look as reliable, so that's a good thing. Getting plenty of satellites, up 20, flicking around a bit, but that's where it's good that I'm pulling in whatever's up there, whether it's American, Chinese or European, or even the Russians. So
6 minutes.
it's an interesting new development for me, something different. So it's quite gusty, a little bit close to the treetop there, but I think I've accomplished what I wanted to, and I'm learning as I go, so having fun. Something else I've done was change it to average cell voltage rather than doing pack voltage, because when I was doing pack voltage I had to have a different model for whether I'm flying 3S, 2S, 3S, or, well, I don't fly 2S with these, whether I'm flying 3S or 4S. But taking it back to the average cell voltage, it's a much more useful measure. So I've got it set to some sort of warning at 3.7 and another warning at 3.5. So I didn't get any battery warnings at all with these ones, which was just fine. So just keeps getting better.
Disarmed.
Yeah, the overall stats are right, but this... Oh no, hang on, it's distance. I'm getting confused. That's all good. I've got too much information to process. Yeah, as well as altitude, I'm not looking at altitude, I'm looking at the distance. So that's why it's 224 metres. I mean, altitude I've already had before I got the GPS. The GPS gives me speed, that's right, speed and distance, and then at the end of the flight, max distance, max height. And I was looking at the max height and I was thinking that's about right, because I knew I didn't get anywhere near 200 and whatever. And so I suddenly realised I'm looking at the wrong reading. But that was good. Nice clear vision too, so just putting more insulation on somewhat exposed joints in the wires does an amazing job of cleaning up the image in the goggles.